Hi, I'm Jeanette Anakini. Please call me Jin for short. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a regenerative detoxification specialist, clinical iridologist, and alkaline health coach, residing and working in Toronto, Canada. I am the founder of the Healing Junction, a resource center for holistic health and healing, as well as the creator of the Raw Reset Regenerative Detoxification program. And I come to you today with this message of regenerative healing and regenerative detoxification, and to explain a little bit about what that is and what it is that I can offer to you as you want to deepen further into your healing journey and work with cellular detoxification, cleaning out the lymphatic system, and perhaps utilizing this amazing science of iridology. I thank God every single day for this opportunity to show up in this way because of my own suffering. I really feel like for myself, if I hadn't have suffered with multiple issues in the head and neck region, including a C-spine injury from a near-death car accident that I was able to heal naturally after being told that I would be using OxyContin for the rest of my life and expect the conditions to get worse. I beat that, and I really feel that because of this experience, this is just a tremendous gift. I don't think I would have been able to adopt these healing modalities if I hadn't have been through that. I just had so much conditioning, so much programming from my past that I really needed. I needed the car accident. I needed my jaw to pop out due to acidosis, multiple concussions before I was really ready to address this issue. And notice it was all coming up in the throat and head region. So throat chakra, pineal gland. I was being called by spirit to really open up these areas, these chakras in specific. So I'm really happy to share with you, there's different paths that you might choose as you decide to deepen in your healing journey. And one of the original things I did, and I think a lot of people do, is a live blood cell analysis. And as well as bioresonance testing, biofrequency testing. I would really say though that was more at the beginning of my path, and now that I've discovered iridology, this beautiful tool of looking at the irises and just doing an iris scan of the right and left irises to see every tissue, organ, and gland, the level of strengths and weaknesses, genetically speaking, as well as the type of lymphatic system you're working with, the level of congestion you might be working with in your lymph system. I believe this to be the top of the top. And any modality that you do go to, whether it be the live blood cell analysis or the bioresonance, ultimately they're going to lead you to figuring out that there's a state of chronic acidosis going on. For example, the red blood cell analysis, you're going to see most likely, unless you've been a raw foodist for over a year, you're going to see your red blood cells, your erythrocytes, basically sticking together like rolls of coins, one on top of the other, when really our cells are like little people. They want a lot of space. They want a lot of freedom around them. They need to be able to breathe. Well, when they're all stuck together, this becomes very difficult for them. Our cells are like little people because they eat and poop. So they need nutrition, and then they need to detoxify any metabolic waste. And when you look at the live blood cell analysis and you see your red blood cells all sticking together like rolls of coins, it just reveals acidosis. And in an acidic state, there can be fungus, there can be parasites. They absolutely love the pH that's more on the acid side. So what then? I think any of these approaches is only as good, even iridology is only as good as the protocol and the practitioner that you're working with. So after helping people for over 6 years here in Toronto, Canada, I am really excited to share with you some of the little tips and tricks that I use with my clients and what has helped them to heal themselves at this really deep cellular level. I do just like to speak a little bit about the bioresonance. So honestly, with this, it wasn't very in alignment for me. When I went to this Red Paw in Toronto, I was amazed that they could test for over 300 different, foods and metals and things like this and see how my energetic body responded and reacted. Now, the thing I wasn't taking into consideration at the time, though, is that I had such a stagnant lymphatic system. So I wouldn't be able to wear any gold, they discovered. They discovered that I couldn't eat pineapples or bananas. And you know what? That would have actually been a disservice to my healing journey. Based on what I know now with fruitarianism and that fruit just digests so beautifully and easily. It's kind of puts you in a fasting state in a way because it uses so little energy in terms of digestive energy, and it frees up your body's energy to go to healing any states of dis-ease. So the bioresonance, if it's a part of your journey, then completely honor that. I love that the body is the best science experiment, the best science lab. If you really want true research, experiment with your body. This is the best research that you can do for yourself. The proof really is in the pudding. So there's some different steps that you could take, and some are more helpful than others. I think once you discover the beautiful science of iridology, you will be amazed at everything that it will reveal to you and how it will put you on the correct path to healing, especially if you're working with a regenerative detoxification specialist like myself or alkaline health coach. The answers are all in the alkaline diet and alkaline lifestyle. And again, the proof is in the pudding. So why not give it a try? So ultimately, you're looking for remedy to your current states of dis-ease. So no such thing as diseases, right? Just the body is in a state that's not of ease, and that it can come back to ease with your support, with your loving support, everything that you're learning about regenerative detoxification, regenerative healing. The body can come back into balance as you put these practices in place. Mindfulness practices are huge. And on today's video, I like to focus a little bit more on the cellular botanicals that we work with as detox specialists. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So my mentor, Dr. Robert Morse, he put himself up in the mountains for several months at a time, eating solely bushels of oranges. This was at a point in his healing journey. He was fed up, he was raised on a milk, a dairy farm, lots of dairy, lots of meat, really causing a lot of stagnation in his lymph, and he was ready to heal. So he didn't even have the botanicals at that time, and he had tremendous healing. And as a spiritual being, he went back into plant form. And he actually was able to communicate with the herbs and to see which herbs worked best with one another. So with all of this inside information, he formulated amazing formulas with 10, 15 different herbs in each herbal tincture. And actually, this is the most exciting news, is I have a source in Toronto that does pretty much copycat formulas of Dr. Robert Morse's. So this is really more for my clients who, we can't really be bringing everything in from Dr. Morse from the States, just with the customs charges. I remember I was dropping $800 a month in the beginning of my journey, buying all of the glandulars, which I do still source from Dr. Robert Morse, from his source. But the herbs specifically, which are the most important to cleanse and strengthen all the cells in the body. And remember, everything is pretty much made up of cells. The liver, the organs, you know, the heart is a bunch of cells, the brain is a bunch of cells. We have to really look at cleaning at the cellular level. My chosen brother Gino, who is also trained with Dr. Robert Morris and is another mentor of mine, Louis Gino Desario of the Master Fast System, he went ahead and consulted with a master herbalist in Toronto who is now making these formulas for us. And why would you want to use these over Dr. Robert Morris's if Dr. Robert Morris did all of that really unique and spiritual work communicating with the plants and comprising like some of the best formulas ever? Well, number one is budget. Also, the quality is very good. There's only 1 part organic cane alcohol to 1 part herbs. So they're very, very strong, 1-to-1 ratio. This is the endocrine formula. This has astragalus root, bee propolis, chaste tree berry, faux tea root, ginseng root, Siberian kelp, parsley, prickly ash bark, saw palmetto berry, suma root, and wild yam root. And this works with the whole endocrine system. So every gland in your body is going to be cleansed and strengthened. And what's that going to do for you? Well, hormonally, you're going to have amazing balance. And you know, the glands are the government of the body, as we like to call it in regenerative detox. So they control everything. So this is going to be a very important herbal formula. And you know, the 4 formulas I would give you when you come to me for regenerative healing, even if you haven't done your iris analysis, the 4 basic ones are the glands, the stomach and bowels, the kidneys and bladder, and the lymphatic formula. Now, some people are on a bit of a tight budget, so we may leave the lymph formula out at first, and some people have issues with worms. So we give them the Parasite GM formula for that. I'm gonna show you, this one here is the Bowel Blaster. And yeah, so if you were to get your iris analysis done, then we can see where your genetic weaknesses are, as well as your strengths. You know, you might have a strong genetic constitution. That would be amazing. That would mean that you would heal relatively quickly. If you have your iris scan done and you see that you have a genetic weakness, maybe you're a male and it's the prostate, well, then we would put you on a prostate formula as well. If budget is an issue though, we can stick you with the 4 main formulas. And you take these herbal tinctures in a little shot glass morning and night along with your kidney tea. And that is the protocol that's in my program, the Raw Reset. And this Bowel Blaster is actually one of my favorite of all the herbal tinctures that I get through the Master Fast System. It is a fantastic formula, again, with like over 10 different herbs, each of them working well together, because remember, we've looked at Dr. Robert Morris's formulas and we really credit a lot of his personal experience communicating with the plants to go into these beautiful tinctures that really have been shipped all over the world. However, recently I saw that Europe is not accepting them. So sadly, if you're in Europe, we won't be able to get you these herbs. And everywhere else in the world, we can at this point. This formula here is a kidney formula. And what I love about the kidney and lymphatic formulas is that they go 1 through 5 and they progressively get stronger and stronger. So this way we're kind of like, you know, maybe you're on it for 3 months, kidney number 1. then you kind of want to go, oh, you know, I'm going to kind of give my tissues like a little surprise. So we're giving the kidneys and bladder some different kinds of herbs than you've already been on. So to kind of keep it interesting for those tissues and to have more efficacy in that way. I have the Lymphatic 1 formula going right now for myself. These are heavy lymphatic herbs. So if your kidneys are not filtering, it's not recommended to be too heavy on the lymph herbs because they'll pull all the waste out of the lymph system. All of that sort of yellow and brown that we see on top of the blue eyes that make hazel eyes, all of that is going to be pulled, trying to get out of the lymph. However, there's no avenue to come out, so it might just get stirred up and cause you a lot of havoc. Well, it would, because the kidneys aren't filtering. So test your kidney filtration, reach out to me. I have some PDFs for you to show you how to test to see if your kidneys are filtering the wastes. And in that case, you can go ahead on the Lymphatic 1. And this formula with the red root, the poke root, the cleavers, the plantain is so strong. And with the lymphatic formulas, they go up to number 5 as well. So you can get some really strong formulas to really rid the body of a lot of, you know, mucus, waste. If you're struggling with any parasitic infections, maybe some candida, you know, obviously small amounts are safe and desirable within the body. However, if you have, you know, brain fog, any concentration issues, those are some of the worst manifestations of symptoms from candida, then you would want to get yourself on the Parasite GM, which I did get some in actually for a member of the Raw Reset who will be deworming themselves using this formula. And the G stands for the larger worms like your ropes and your tapes. The M stands for the microbials, which is the fungus, the candida, the yeast. You know, this is a very important formula if you've been consuming a lot of starches like your breads, your pastas, crackers, you know, your wheat products. This would be a great way to rid the excess candida along with a lot of fruit. And that's actually in my program, is how to eat to remove candida and parasites. If you've been on a lot of animal protein, you're going to want to be on this formula because the worms are really just there. They're involved in the putrefaction process. So basically, like, the meat is rotting essentially. There's nothing in it, there's no life form, there's no energy field. Really the only way it can get removed from the system is through those worms actually. Now the problem is, even though they're helping you to a certain extent, when they get too big, for example, or there's too many of them, you'll feel it in your consciousness because they have quite a low energetic frequency. So vibrationally speaking, they pull us down, and it can cause moodiness, irritation, you know, maybe an overreactive tendency, emotionally speaking. So definitely get yourself on a good parasite formula. This one contains the wormwood. It has the olive leaf, the black walnut hulls. It's an incredible formula, again tackling the worms and the candida. So really great herbs and herbal protocols for those of us who are here in Toronto working with a budget, or if you're around different parts of the world, go to the Master Fast System website and you'll find more information there. If you need any support with ordering your herbs, let me know. I do have an affiliate link that I would be so grateful if you used. It doesn't change your price. I don't have any discounts on these. They're already so well priced. It's just an energy exchange for my sharing this information with you. So I'd really appreciate that. And the other herb that I really like to use in my practice is marijuana. And Mama Marijuana, Mary Jane, I infuse her into cacao butter and avocado oil. Oh, it is super strong. And what do we know about fats, right? The body uses fat to neutralize acids. So just rubbing this on your sore joints, maybe your back is sore, there's some tension in the neck, shoulders, you have a migraine headache, melting it under hot water. I put it in a glass jar with a child-proof lid, just in case your little ones get around, can't get into this. It's quite potent. Run it under hot water, put a couple drops in your tea or coffee, and get a bit of a micro dose for pain and inflammation. Also, it works to relax the nervous system. So the only thing about cannabis is if you use maybe too much, you're smoking it, you're taking it this way, it can get you quite suppressed, neurologically speaking. That is how it actually relieves the pain, because believe it or not, the mind actually amplifies the pain that you're experiencing in your body by being resistant. So when we don't want the pain there, we want it gone now, it actually makes the pain worse. So cannabis is very, very effective for reducing pain. If you've looked at the cannabinoid system in our body and the marijuana plant, you'll see they're the same. The CBDs, the THC, everything is very, very beneficial. If you were to use the joy butter on your entire body, head to toe, you would only get a microdose in terms of the psychoactive component. So it's very, very difficult to get the psychoactive effect by using my joy butter. It is completely supportive for those of us who want to be here now. You don't want to be living too much in the clouds. I remember what that felt like, smoking weed a lot of my life and living out of my body, too expanded. I love how it feels to be here in this body. And I'm just so, so grateful that you were here with me today. It's just such a joy. It's a pleasure to share in this way. And I really encourage you to get your iris scan and report, whether it be through myself or another clinical iridologist, hopefully through Dr. Robert Morse's community of healers like myself, or just reach out to me if you're finding that my energy is in resonance with yours. I would absolutely love to talk to you. Namaste, dear one. Until next time.